All right, this week I'm going to talk about SOS, the Secular Organizations of Sobriety. It was created by James Christopher, who's recovering from alcohol abuse as well, and he's been sober since '78. And like usual, what I'll do is I'll put the link in the in the comments so people can actually check this out. So the link to that is actually at .org. So it does get into SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse Mental Specialization Association. It also has links it has indirect links to that stuff as well. As my cat's trying to get attention, and so it's just another way for people to kind of say goodbye to religion, and because you don't need religion to recover from your substance abuse or to kind of move on with your life. So, and I've stated before, you kind of need to get mental health out, religion out of mental health, because if you're someone who's a schizophrenic, you wouldn't necessarily go to the Catholic Church for a medical treatment, or if you're someone who has clinical level depression, you wouldn't necessarily go to an Islamic mosque for medical treatment. Or for instance, if you had anxiety or a bipolar disorder or any other mental disorder, you wouldn't necessarily go to a Jewish synagogue for medical treatment. You'd go to professionals in the medical industry to get help. So this is, and substance abuse is no different. So the question is always, why are as a society we still are relying on a 1930s religion with AA to treat substance abuse? And next week I'll be getting into the 13-step documentary, which kind of highlights all the negative sides of AA and why I go over all these other alternatives, so that way people can get out of under the thumb of the 12-step program, so that way you can actually not only recover but move on from your life from substance abuse and everything. So you don't have to necessarily be, in a sense, driven down, treated like shit and everything, stating that you have to go to recovery meetings for the rest of your life. You have to constantly do whatever the big book says, whatever your sponsor says, or whatever the AA program dictates and everything. So SOS is the latest one I'm going to be talking about, which is, like I said, the Secular Organization of Sobriety, which was created by James Christopher, and like I said, who's also someone who has suffered from substance abuse, and he's been sober from since '78. So with the article I brought up, it didn't really state whether he with a quick search of it, he didn't really state whether he's still alive or not, but I'm assuming so. But the organization is just that, it's secular. It's basically based in science and psychology, like the other programs like Smart Recovery, Rational Recovery, Reach Out Recovery. So all these programs, in a sense, highlight the lack of religion in being able to not only recover but move on in your life from substance abuse. So in a sense, this with being another science and psychology based program, you're more grounded in the current research and current in a sense, I don't want to say necessarily ideology, but the current viewpoints on okay, this is what we know now, we're going forward with this stuff that we know right now. And just science, stuff will come across in the next 20-30 years, we'll be coming across even more stuff, and we'll look back at oh, well, now that we have another 20 to 30 years worth of more knowledge, this is what we know now based off what we knew then. And so it's constantly progressing, whereas programs like AA don't progress. And so that's the biggest difference between a religious based approach versus your secular approach, or your science and psychology type approach, where you're constantly making progress, and they actually can affect you as an individual, because it's you're constantly you can get into that improvement mindset and be okay, based on all this stuff that I've been going through with in this case SOS, I now know all this, and like you can get into like the triggers and like the kind of like the root causes of what led you down your like substance abuse, and be like, oh, okay, now that I have all this information on like what led me to drink and a drink, or like use drugs, or like what led me down that path of whatever substance I was abusing, I can now therefore move forward. So like with doing a lot of like fitness and health videos previously, like for me, like I have a number of Athlete X videos that I've done, and like I continually do like reviews of the programs and stuff, because it's like that's one of the things that I've gotten into through going through stuff like this, is that like, oh, here's stuff that helps me to constantly improve and move forward, and I can put it substance abuse in the past where it belongs. And so like and the whole cliche like phrase like the windshield is so much bigger than the rear view mirror for a reason. That's kind of like what it kind of entails. Like you're going like this way, you're not going that way in the past and everything. So like that's the whole concept of all these organizations that are secular, or that are, like I said, based in science and psychology. They're like giving you tools and like stuff that you can use to move forward with your life and constantly improve yourself, and like instead of like coping for stress with like okay, well, it's Friday night, like the happy hour analogy that I usually like to use, like, oh, it's been a long week, I need to de-stress, and I'm going to use a negative coping mechanism by abusing drugs or alcohol. You start filling your life with like positive ways to deal with stress, positive coping mechanisms. Like, and so like for me, like with all the videos that I do, is like for that's my approach, is the physical fitness and health, and it has bled over into taking care of like mental health in an indirect way. So because I mean, mental and physical health are separate, but they are connected. So with the secular organizations, the sobriety like video today, I'm getting into yet another organization that you can get into, that you don't necessarily like you have to get into that mindset that, oh, I have to go to AA. AA is probably like the one of, if not the last stop that you're going to want to make, if you ever want to make that stop at all. Because like if you get into any one of these like, organizations like that I've mentioned over the past several weeks, you'll find that like your life will improve a lot better, a lot faster, and you'll be able to move on with your life and start getting things in order. You can maybe start like getting a stable employment. You can with me saying like with me getting your physical health in order. You can definitely get your mental health squared away, and then like of course it's going to bleed all over into your other aspects of life. So like your relationships are going to start improving. You're going to start eating better. You're going to start like sleeping better. Overall, your life is going to start getting better so much faster by taking these approaches instead of a religious based approach, and you're going to be able to improve so much better. So like this is like the last one that I'm familiar with, are alternatives to AA. So like if anyone has more like a idea like or aware of other ones that I haven't covered yet, then like definitely drop in the comments and everything, and so that way I can like research, and we can like talk I can actually talk about them and kind of get like the idea those points out there, so that way people can get more options, so they don't necessarily have to rely on religion for their mental health. And like I've stated before, like you definitely need to get like a religion out of mental health, because it has no place in it. So I mean, some people, well, if you find religion afterwards, good on you, but it's I'll reiterate that it's not a requirement for getting your mental health in order. So like I said, the secular organizations, the sobriety, is yet another organization that is based on science and psychology. It's a secular based approach. So this is why it's like another alternative to AA, and it's a lot better. And so like they did have like a little graph that showed that like alcohol and drug abuse and like compulsive eating has been on the rise for like the past 20 years or so. So this is definitely something that could help not only with the substance and alcohol abuse, but could actually help with someone who has like a compulsive eating disorder, especially nowadays, now that like obesity has been on the rise, like pretty much like nonstop for like decades now. So this is like, I'll end this video to remind that like this is just another way to get the help you get, put your substance abuse in the past, and a different approach to your 1930s religion-based approach with AA.